and 2. They stack the line of scrimmage. There's Dom Hill. There he goes. Dom Hill 40. Dom Hill 30. Downhill Dom Hill. Touchdown. 61 yards.
Smoaky.com presents the Texas High School Football Show on 365 Sports. Brought to you by Peter Chevrolet.
Medlock, they fake it to him. James Keeper off the left side, breaks the tackle, into the secondary, skips away, and he will score. Touchdown, Duncanville.
Here's David Smoke.
How you doing? It's week number 5 of the Texas high school football season. There are 11 regular season weeks, non-district and then district. Some teams are in those districts that might play 7 or 8 games, and some might play 3 or 4. And for the most part, not everybody starts district this week, but a lot of course, schools and programs will. We'll look at the best wins from last week, the best games later in the show for this week, and of course, that is also via pigskinprep.com and our great friend Jerry Forrest. Also, Atascocita head football coach Craig Stump, former A&M coach. And remember we had Mike Owens on 3 or 4 weeks ago, the former Lee coach in Tyler? His first quarterback when he was the head coach at Jefferson was Craig Stump. And so a couple of nuggets from Mike Owens for Craig, too. Also, Mark Humble, second year at Harker Heights. They play Midway this week in a District 12 6A opener. He'll join us today at around 10:30 on the unique part of coaching around a military facility and installation like what they have at Fort Cavazos. And then a multi-school school district with Shoemaker, Killeen High, Harker Heights, Ellison. And then right off the hip of all that, you also have, of course, then there's Chaparral, a new school that opened recently. And then Coppers Cove right off the hip of Fort Cavazos, too. I knew that Salina would beat Franklin. I mean, I pretty much knew that. They have played a really, really good schedule. They're a juggernaut early. They've had that history, of course, of state championships and as they climb the ladder in different classifications, and they're really good this year. I knew they would beat Franklin just because they would have too much. And they did easily, 59-21. That game got out of hand, but we had Mark Fannin from Franklin last week. You know what? He doesn't like losing, but I guarantee you that game, barring them losing anybody, will make them even tougher to beat going forward. This one here kind of surprised me. My son-in-law, Daniel Golden, went to Chapel Hill High School right there on the east side of Tyler, and we know that they've had a state championship history. And Jeff Reardon, who's joined this podcast before, has Demetrius Brisbane, who's committed to Baylor, and also Ricky Stewart, the running back, committed to Texas, among others. And Brisbane was out. Carthage needed a win. Remember, they lost to Kilgore. Then they've kind of righted themselves, hammered Liberty Ilo. Jet Surratt back and healthy. Scott Surratt, how many times have I said this in the first 5 minutes, with an incredible state championship lineage and history. 45-14 Carthage. And I'm not going to sit there and say, well, Brisbane didn't play. Carthage can sometimes just jump up on no matter who you are and thump you, but you wonder what that would have been like. And if you're Carthage, you wish that Brisbane would have played. You want to play against guys like that. I'm not sure if he even took a snap or not, but Carthage rolls past Chapel Hill. Also, a couple of other scores to get to. This is the Battle of Bryan College Station. A&M consolidated, 34, College Station 20. Two really good teams. Great game. Westlake and Steele. Cibolo Steele's off to a really good start. Westlake had the loss to Atascocita, and we'll have Craig Stump on. Westlake 41, Steele 16. Kilgore beat Pleasant Grove 37-31. Now, you know that most of my history in this business of 44 years, well, a lot of it from 1981 to about 2009 was East Texas. Covering teams, recording interviews with coaches and players and the atmosphere and the fan bases and broadcasting hundreds of games. Covering games as a television reporter. And, but that area, back in the 80s, and we had Van in 79 won a state title, Pittsburgh in 80, Dangerfield 83, 85, Jefferson 86. I could go on. We know what that area's been like, and there's been other schools like Gladewater with a great Jack Murphy. teams that have really, but now in 4A, Division I and Division II, and remember now, Gilmer dropped back to Division II, but you have what Josh Gibson's done at Pleasant Grove, and they've won a state title. You know what Gilmer's done with Alan Metzel. They're now 2A. We just said what Carthage can do. Now you have Lindale and Van, and you have Chapel Hill and Kilgore, who beat Carthage to start the year, then lost to Gilmer by 2. Those teams in non-district, that's incredible. Like the SEC, if you had to play Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Missouri, and then just throw somebody else in. Until, of course, that Powder Puff game that the SEC plays in November against, like, University of No One Cares. But the 4A in East Texas, whether Division I or Division II, and I just know for some reason I've probably left somebody out. And, Garrett, if you can remind me of somebody who's also 4A, you have, Pine Tree, who we opened up with our first show after their second week when they beat Gilmer. And then on top of that, there are others. Sulphur Springs is now 4A and pretty good. So it's unbelievable. I know I've gone on too long with that. I thought the win by Lampasas against Wimberley was great, 35-27. Columbus, Coach Schobel, his son, the quarterback, we'll have him next week, 62-35 against Madisonville, who's pretty good, but that's a step. Columbus is Division I 3A. That's a step up against competition as Columbus hammered them. Remember, Madisonville took Malakoff to the end last week, 2 weeks ago, and lost by a point. La Vega bounces back after they were spanked by Salina, 43-0 over Brownwood. Winsboro in a shootout win against Hooks, 47-33. North Crowley, Ray Gates had them on 2 weeks ago. They beat Rockwall 70-17. When you look at the upper echelon of 6A, with the schools, Atascocita, Summer Creek, North Shore, I could go on. And then you have what is obviously Allen, 4-0 with Lee Wigginton. You have South Lake Carroll. You have Duncanville. You have DeSoto, and I could start with them. And then North Crowley. My goodness, it's unbelievable. And I can't wait to see how all that unfolds. Todd Dodge lost his first 2 games against good people, Lubbock Cooper, and then last week they lost, I just went blank to who they lost to in a heck of a game. But they beat, 2 weeks ago, they got their first win, 66-62 against Anna. I text Todd, I said, hey, congratulations, he's won hundreds, right? He won state championship. Congratulations on the win. They beat Anna 66-62. I have to remember who they lost to in week 2 because it was a hell of a game, but they fell just short. Willis, they lose DJ Lagway to Florida, and they keep rolling. Beat the Woodlands in a nice game, 45-42. Now, we've done a lot of historical data. Longest consecutive win streak in district, longest consecutive wins overall, and also, now this week, the longest consecutive regular season win streaks, district or non-district. Allen with the record of 84 from 2012 to 2021, 84 consecutive regular season wins. North Shore, this is before they started rattling off a bunch of state titles, 78 straight from 2001 to 2008. South Lake Carroll, 86-94. Carthage had theirs stopped in the opening game against Kilgore this week. They were chasing that down. They had 71 straight until the loss to open up this year. And then Austin Westlake, 1991-98. And a lot of these schools have had other long winning streaks, but these are the all-time longest regular season win streaks. Does not include the playoffs. It's not just district, but regular season wins. I went to Universal City Randolph. I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. I went to Chofu High School my freshman year when my father was stationed in Japan. I went to Yokota High School my sophomore and junior years when we were moved to Yokota Air Force Base during some of the consolidation of Air Force bases in Japan, which my father, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Van Smoke Sr., was a major part of. He was in Vietnam prior to the fact we went to Japan, and I loved my 4 years in Japan. But then right before my senior year, he gets transferred and stationed back where he had been before at Randolph Air Force Base. You don't want me to get too emotional, but I love the late Bob Mickler. He was Like, he's the hero of mine. And when the day I was doing radio in Tyler, and they had the old AP, there was no internet. It was like ding, ding, ding. There was a story that came down, high school football coach killed in accident. You want to talk about getting kicked in the you-know-whats? I started reading the story. I get goosebumps even now. It was my former high school football coach. I was there for just 1 year. Had been killed with his wife while on vacation in Mexico. He had retired, and it's still to this day when I bring it up. I wrote a feature on my website, Smoaky.com. It says, Dear Coach. It was about Coach Mickler, but it's about coaches in general and how much I love what they do for young men and young women, depending on the sport. But Randolph and Cole, Air Force Base Randolph, Sam Houston State, the Army base is San Antonio Cole. They don't like each other. We've had their coaches on before. This is a series that started back in 1963. Randolph leads the overall series, and it's one-sided. And I don't bring that up only because I went to Randolph, but there's some historical parts here. 44 wins, 14 losses, and 2 ties. Last year, Cole won 35-32. Randolph had a 13-game winning streak to open the series. And the first time they didn't win a game, I'm proud and not so proud to say, it was a 0-0 tie when I was a senior with the Rohawks. And believe me, Coach Mickler, I don't think even today, sometimes I get like a text from him from above that says, I can't believe you didn't beat Cole. I love that man. They had 13 straight wins to start the series. It was so one-sided. And then they won 16 of 17 from 1980 to 1997 after Cole had gotten a win. And there was a tie in the middle of that in 1993. Guess what? 0-0. I didn't need to bring that up to remind me. Longest winning streak for Cole during that time, and they have probably had the better of it the last 15 games, but they won 4 straight, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then they won 7 of 10 from 2009 to 2018. Then Randolph won 4 straight, and then Cole winning last year. Wanted to bring up that series because it's one of the few in the world, in the United States, the continental United States, where Air Force Base high schools, you have high schools on the Air Force Base that play each other as well year after year. There was 1 year, and it was such a huge buildup. Both of them were ranked in like the top 5 or 10 of the year, and they got the game was lightning, and they didn't get to play. And I think it like upset the entire military world. But I went to Chofu High School, the Vikings, Yokota High School, the Panthers, and then Randolph High School, Universal City Randolph, on the northeast side of San Antonio, the Rohawks. All right, coming up next, Craig Stump, head football coach at Atascocita. Later on, Mark Humble, the head coach at Harker Heights. We'll also have the best games this week per pigskinprep.com with Garrett Ross and our great sponsors. I'm David Smoke, and thank you as always for your time. This is week number 5.
When you need power, performance, and head-turning style, you need Peters Chevrolet. Check out the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. 1.9% for 36 months with discounts up to $10,000 off on custom crew cabs. 2024 Silverado prices starting at $36,995. Whether you work hard or play hard, take your pick out of the largest selection of new Chevrolets at Peters Chevrolet. Online at peterscars.net. Peters Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
New arrivals just dropped at Barefoot Campus Outfitter in Waco. Looking for the best Baylor gear? Barefoot is the place to grab your gear. Game day polos, tees, tanks, caps, clear stadium bags, jewelry, and more. Barefoot Outfitters has all the essentials with unique campus apparel and offering comfortable garments and designs. Long-lasting images that people continue to enjoy wearing time and time again. Located right off I-35 on Spate, or shop at barefootcampusoutfitter.com and get free shipping on orders $75 or more. Go Bears!
Hi, I'm Mark Stewart with Bird Colgin Ford. It's that time of year, it's football season. Bird Colgin Ford is a proud supporter of the best high school football right here in Central Texas. BK Ford is proud to sell the #1 selling truck in Texas, the F-Series truck, 47 years in a row. Come see the largest showroom in Texas and experience better at Bird Colgin Ford.
Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, specializing in diagnosing and treatment of any and all sport-related injuries. Celebrating over 2 decades of service to Central Texas, they tackle all surgical and non-surgical problems that arise from an active lifestyle. Trust the doctors that Baylor trusts. And when injuries sideline you, don't wait for Monday. Join us at 8:30 on Saturday morning for a post-game injury evaluation clinic. Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine Orthopedics. We get you back in the game.
Where is the best beef in Texas? Your house. When you order from Texas Beef House and unleash the flavor of Texas-raised Wagyu. Texas Beef House now hosting twice monthly live auctions where you, the customer, set the cost of what you want to pay for ribeyes and New York strip fillets, flat iron, brisket, tri-tip. So look online, TexasBeefHouse.com, and popping up will be the live auction dates coming up. Stay connected. It's TexasBeefHouse.com. From their pasture to your plate, twice monthly live auctions, TexasBeefHouse.com. Harker Heights football coach Mark Humble, head coach of the Knights. They play Midway to start district play this week with us on 365 Sports. Did you know the year in 91, which I saw Colleen because they played Lee High School at Kyle Field in a very close game. Yeah. I think a muffed punt was like the difference in that game. But when you played in the state championship game against Dulles, Billy Spiller was the starting quarterback, but you obviously were right there in the middle of all that. That Josh Creech, who's the defensive coordinator at Midway, his father was the defensive coordinator at Dulles in 1991.
I did not know that. So I did know they were all close games in 91, but I did know that. That's an awesome fact. So I'll have to find Coach and talk through that game. That was an unbelievable game. A double reverse pass won it. George Gooden went up, made an unbelievable play. Charles West was up there, the whole deal. So it was a great game. Another one score down to the wire game.
Jim Creech was his name. Josh, of course, now with Joe Gillespie at Midway. In that he ended up coaching a long time. All of it was at, I call it Sugarland Dulles, but it's Fort Bend Dulles. It's the part of Houston. So you're 2-2, and Midlothian's really good. You've been tested, and that's what coaches want. Instead of something that you kind of coast through and you're 4-0. You could be good and play good people, be 4-0, but you're 2-2. Have you found out a lot about what you needed?
Oh yeah, Smoke. Definitely. We have an outstanding football team, and we designed our non-district this way to play and get ready for a tough District 12 6A. And so going through, we started 2-0, and the facts of the matter is both games that we came up a little bit short came down to the last play against Dripping Springs and against Midlothian. And so we will learn valuable lessons, but I do know we play hard. We've got an outstanding team, and then hopefully those lessons against Dripping Springs and Midlothian will pay off in District 12 6A. And so super excited, super pleased. And again, like everyone is saying, and every coach in District 12 6A, everyone is 0-0. I mean, we could be 4-0, 0-4, 2-2, 3-1. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans going in. Everybody's 0-0, and that's why everyone's excited about this game.
Midway made a run at the end of last year. You beat them, but they made the run. Temple had, that doesn't happen, and Scott Stewart trying to turn that around. What you are, what you represent, what your program has done, the great run a couple of years ago with Jerry Edwards and what you're trying to continue. Then you have a couple of new schools. Yes, Brian and Huddle. Do you feel like the district is somewhat wide open this year?
Yeah, Smoke, definitely. I think the best word to describe our district is balanced. I think everybody's improved, and I think everybody has a shot all the way from the top to the bottom, even the new schools that we've added. And so that's kind of been the theme that I've talked with our team about. Everybody's improved. It's not the same teams of 2023 in any facet, and Harker Heights is not the same team as they were in 2023, and everybody's improved. And I think the stat line shows that going in to start district play. And so I think it'll be exciting district play. I think it'll be an exciting district run, and who knows what will happen. Whoever plays the best throughout the stretch will end up on top.
I have had other coaches that have gone back to their alma mater and coached. You're not quite there because you were Colleen High. This is Harker Heights. And they weren't even in existence when you played at Colleen High. But that area has grown so much. What is it like, though, to be back where your hometown is in Killeen, coaching a high school where you grew up?
It's nostalgic, to be honest. There's not a day that goes by, Smoke, that I don't have a moment, a flashback to high school with my friends and my teammates and my coaches. And Harker Heights is a special place. It reminds me a lot of Killeen in the heyday with our coaches and our teams and kind of the same things that we do. It's great, phenomenal community support and a family-like atmosphere here, not just in football, athletically in the school building. And then, kind of most importantly, on a personal note, my mom and dad are still here. And so they get to see my daughter and my son and be at every game. And, they didn't miss a game when I was coaching in the Metroplex. And so now it saves them a little bit of travel. So it's special. I mean, I enjoy being here. I grew up. I see a lot of myself in these kids. I see a lot of my friends in these kids. And that kind of keeps you motivated and keeps you purpose-filled as you go through. It's not just about football, because every day I'm reminded how special this place is. And sometimes I get that high school feeling going back, and, I feel like, I'm 16, 17 years old again back at home. So it's been special, and I've enjoyed every moment of it.
Midway, Temple, Bryan, and then the four schools clumped near Fort Cavazos with Killeen High, Harker Heights, Cove, and also Shoemaker. It's a lot of fun to watch. A lot of points are being scored by some of those teams in the Killeen ISD. What's going on? What's in the water down there?
Well, I don't know. Speed kills, and this place has always been known for speed. I'm not one that was blessed with speed, but our kids are. And so I think our coaches are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, across the board at all five schools. We got phenomenal coaches, phenomenal coaching staffs. They're doing the right things. And I think all the kids at every school are buying into that. And, stability helps a bunch. Those coaches have been there a long time and got their systems established, and then it's starting to trickle down into their lower levels in the middle school. And so, a lot of offense being played. And I think that's kind of the nature of football, whether you look at it at the NFL level, the college level, and especially the high school level. I don't know how people coach defense. It kind of turns your hair. Midway's doing a phenomenal job of it, but there are a lot of points being scored. And I think that's just a tribute to the type of kids that we have and the coaching that they're getting day in and day out.
You spent 1 year at Texas High. I reached out, and he's a very good friend of mine in Barry Norton. I asked him to tell me about you. You were there 1 year. When I first met Mark, it was clear he had a great understanding of the game of football and how to organize and run a team. He is extremely intelligent, highly motivated. Mark has passion for the game and even more so for the players he coaches. Excellent coach, an even better man.
Oh, Coach Norton was phenomenal. I went to Texas High. Matt McClure is one of my close friends, former coach and close friends, and drew me out to Texas High when Coach Surratt went to Carthage, and spent an unbelievable year there. Probably the biggest part of my coaching career, learning the big picture. There's nobody better than Coach Norton that sees a plan a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. And he built Texas High up to what it is now. And I was fortunate to be a part with all the new facilities and the indoor, phenomenal players, phenomenal coaching staff, all Division I like coaches. And unfortunately, my mother-in-law got sick, and we had to return to the Metroplex to be close for my wife and my kids. And so it was a phenomenal year. I still talk to Coach every now and again, talk to him before we got started. Unbelievable, and had a huge impact on my career. And a lot of what we do is what we did at Texas High.
You have been at some historically really good programs. I know Plano East is not the same, but you were there. South Lake Carroll, Denton Ryan, Lone Star, and they've exploded, of course, what they've done there. And then you mentioned Texas High, Keller High, Grand Prairie, Killeen High, where you played, and now at Harker Heights. You were at Rock Hill, but you were there for just a couple of years, and then you decided it was time to move on. Was it because you thought Harker Heights would open up? What was the story there?
I was fortunate to be around great coaches. I think all Hall of Fame coaches. And so I've been blessed to be around guys like Johnny Ringo, Hal Walson, one of my close friends, Jeff Rayburn, who I think does it the best at Frisco Lone Star. And I was fortunate enough to start my head coaching career at Prosper Rock Hill and open a school. Opened the school under COVID in 2020. So that was interesting, everyone that was part of that. So not only were we opening a brand new school, starting varsity football, but we were dealing with a worldwide pandemic. So that was interesting. Stayed there for 2 years, and it was just an opportunity to move on and go on. And I didn't think Harker Heights would open up, and I didn't think I would ever come home, but it did, and it was a perfect fit. And when I came and interviewed, it was obvious that this was the place for me, and it was kind of more of a calling than anything. And so from that moment on, I mean, everything has just worked out beautifully. And so, no, none of that was planned, Smoke. It was just kind of where God calls you and places you. And then, when your time is done there, you move on to the next. But I think the biggest thing for my coaching career, I've been fortunate to coach with some unbelievable coaches, all the way from my time at Denton Ryan to Lone Star with Jeff Rayburn, to South Lake Carroll with Hal Wasson, to Plano East with Johnny Ringo, to Keller High with Kevin Atkinson, and Texas High with Barry Norton. I don't know if anybody gets that opportunity to work with Hall of Fame type coaches. And I've just been blessed. And a part of them is in every part of our program.
I think when I went down to see you and your staff last year, I'm a military kid. My dad, I was born in Omaha, which I went and visited for the first time since I was born to go watch Nebraska play. Matt Rule, now the head coach. And I had not been back to Offutt Air Force Base since I was born. We went to Guam, Arizona, Virginia, Texas, Japan, and back to Texas. That's my military brat life. And I loved every second that I can remember. And I can remember all the way back to when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I know you played at Killeen High, and you have all of these young men at Heights and elsewhere, Cove, even Belton, Lake Belton, where military families are a major part and a core of that area. What is it like to be a part of that? What are the pros and what are the cons?
It's interesting you say that, Smoke. Both of us are Army brats. So my dad was a combat helicopter pilot in the Army for 30 years. So I was born at Fort Hood then. We lived in the area, traveled all over the world, from Panama to overseas, Florida, D.C., spent 7 years in Germany. And then right before my 9th grade year, came back and got stationed back at Fort Hood, and I went to Killeen High School. And so having that knowledge like you really helps. It's a different environment. There's very few kids that go K through 12 at any of our schools. Everybody's new and everybody's a move-in for the most part. And so having that knowledge and knowing how that feels and to bring everyone together, I think it's really unique for our place. On the flip side, I think it's also a great positive that you're bringing all these different type of people that have adapted and had to learn to adjust to new ways of life and a new culture and a new neighborhood and a new school and a new way of doing things, that our kids are extremely adaptable. Our kids are very familiar with overcoming adversity and overcoming and being okay, being uncomfortable and with the unknown. And I think that gives us an advantage. On the flip side, there are the sad times when you have a really good player, a really good kid, a family that's really close to your program, and then they have to PCS out. And, and when Uncle Sam says you're moving, there is no rebuttal. You're moving. You can have all the excuses and all the reasons in the world, and you're going. And so on the flip side, that's really hard, not only for our kids, but also for our staff, because everybody works so hard here. Everyone, contributes and helps raise the culture and the standard here to get to a Friday night and to get the rewards. And it's sad when they have to go. And so it's very unique, but I think we use everything that happens in a military town, a military lifestyle, for a positive rather than a negative.
And how families rally around if somebody's mother and or father or both are stationed, like have to go overseas, because there's always something the United States trying to figure out or things that are going on around the world. And that's also difficult. I went to 3 high schools in 4 years.
Yeah.
Right before my 8th grade year, my father was in Vietnam. We moved to Japan, Chofu High School. And then I went to who was our arch rival, Yokota High School for my sophomore and junior year, and I promise you, Mark, it took me almost the entire sophomore year not to be pissed off at the world. Like, I can't wear those colors.
Yeah.
And then that would be like going from Harker Heights to Ellison or Ellison to Killeen. I mean,
yeah, that'd be tough, Smoke. I don't know if I could do that.
Now, how about SMU beating the hell out of TCU where you went to school, SMU?
Oh, it was awesome. So we started our Sunday staff meeting. Our offensive line coach and run game coordinator, Logan Brock.
I know.
He's a TCU alum. And I said, we started off the staff meeting. I said, it's a glorious day, man. The iron skillet is back where it belongs on the hilltop.
Oh, my
He
God.
kind of laughed and didn't have much to say. But, yeah, they've done a phenomenal job there at SMU, just with the facility upgrades and just to see them become nationally recognized and be a power, enter the ACC. And so I'm hoping they can continue that. And, I'm always rooting for them to have great success. It's always fun when your alma mater is playing well and winning.
You have two great kids. And now you're coaching your son at quarterback. What's that like? Any differences in coaching him than anyone else?
Oh, it's special. I'm enjoying every moment. I can't believe it's already here. I'm so proud of him. He's playing well. But there is this other side. Jeff Rayburn, the head coach at Lone Star, called, and he's known Hudson since he's been a little boy, and we always have teased him. He's the winningest ball boy in Texas football history, and now he's playing football. And so he asked me, because he knows what we go through and what we do to prepare our quarterbacks and what goes into a game and game week and play calling. He said, how much does that add to your plate that your son is now out there? And I said, brother, you have no idea, how much stress and anxiety there is, because not only are you wanting your team to perform, but your blood is out there too. And you have a hand in it. So it's fun. I'm enjoying every moment of it. He's done some things or just, I can't believe he has some unbelievable plays. I'm like, is that my son? And then, he's still a sophomore and still growing and still learning and still got a long way to go. To reach his potential at the position, because you never stop growing at that position. But it's been fun. It's been fun for our family. It's been fun for my mom and dad. He's worked really hard for this. So I'm proud of him. And I'm more proud of what he's been able to do for our team, because that was a huge question mark coming into the year.
Couple of things on your Twitter feed that I saw. One of them from John Wooden, another one from Hurley, who's, of course, been really good at UConn. The edge is earned. It's about proving ourselves, not to anyone else, but to the work. Every rep, every drill builds the foundation. When it's time to compete, we don't hope for victory. We expect it because we've prepared like champions long before the game even starts. That I love those. I have images like that up on where I live at the condo on my desk that remind me, and I change them out. That obviously was very powerful to you. And then, of course, there's the one with Wooden, too. You feed by that same example and philosophy?
Yeah, I think any championship program, any championship culture, you're so dialed into the process that takes to get to that point you want to get to. And today's world, what we're battling is everybody wants to get to the end product. Everybody wants to get to the end. Everybody wants to get to the fun, rewarding stuff, but nobody wants to do the stuff before. No one realizes the stuff that you have to do before to get there. Everyone sees the end product, and our kids are, products, and they see 30-second reels and clips, and they see everyone and the elite status they have and all the great things that they've done, and playing at a high level, winning championships, but they don't see all the work that went into it, that process that went into it. And so that's just a reminder for our kids, is that we really never focus on winning football games. We really never focus on the opponent. Really focus on ourselves and the process that we go through to be the absolute best Harker Heights football team, whether we play on Thursday or Friday night, that we can, and then continue to get better as we go. If we can do those things, usually the end result takes care of itself. But then, unfortunately, some people focus on the end, and when the end is tough or you face some adversity, what do people do? They give up, they quit, they go back, they complain. And so it's just a great reminder to be process driven and what we try to focus on here at Harker Heights.
Last thing is, again, hosting Midway Friday night, 7:30 at Leo Buckley. we'll be there. Look forward to watching you guys play. I love the school colors, too, the red and the black combination that you have behind you. And I visited Mark and his staff last year. I guess it was in November, right, at the beginning of the playoffs, and really enjoyed that time. And the facilities you have, the stadium that's there, that is very convenient. I love the look and where you are. Last thing, you mentioned adversity, resiliency, overcoming things. Is that what you learned the most about 91 because of the tragedy with Colleen and the Lubies? And I don't want to bring up a bad scar, but that was such an incredible story. And I did leave football, and I did that game at Kyle Field. And, you want to see the team you cover win. You don't do a we or them or us. I don't do that. I love watching great high school football and all the great human interest stories. Is that where you really learned the most about resiliency and adversity?
Oh, there's no doubt. My high school career and my high school time and my high school coaches and the 91 season. And, for those that are familiar with it, the tragedy at Lubies, and then what a team and a group of men and a group of kids and a school can do for a community to go through. And then just like you said, Smoke, not very many people remember every playoff game was a 1-score game. And the first game that we played, the first by-district game against Austin Anderson, back in the day, it was tied. And we were ahead on penetrations, and that's going inside the 20. We're up like 4-3. And so that was going to advance us, but they had an All-American kicker and got in range 48 yards, which was makeable for him. And we ended up half blocking it, tipping it to go into the next round as 14-14 tie and advancing on penetrations. And so just about like every game was tight. We played number 1 Jersey Village, and then we had to travel to play Shea Marin's in the semifinals at Stanford. I don't know how that worked out, but I don't know how, now that I'm in coaching, like who decided on home and home for a semifinal game and traveled all the way out there to play them. And then obviously the state championship game in the Astrodome. So every game was tight. It was a battle, but just learning for that has set me up. It set me up for my high school playing career, but also set me up for the things that you see every day in your coaching career with your kids, because you've been through some of those circumstances, those situations, which helps prepare your team and helps prepare your kids.
Great to see you, man. I'll see you Friday. Thanks for all the things you do for high school football and also giving me the information you gave me for the broadcast coming up this week. I appreciate your time.
We'll appreciate you, Smoke, and all you do for high school football. So we'll see you guys on Friday night. Go Knights, rep the Shield.
Mark Humble, head coach at Harker Heights, with us on the statewide high school football scoreboard show.
Make this the summer of Ram at Peters Ram in Longview. Introducing the all-new 2025 Ram 1500 with available 420 horsepower and 540 foot-pounds of torque, starting at an affordable $47,995. Or get $4,000 off the all-new 2025 1500 Limited with available 540 horsepower and 521 foot-pounds of torque. Need something for work? The Ram 1500 Classic starting at $36,999. Peters Ram in Longview has the largest selection of the hardest working new trucks in the industry. Online at peterscars.com.
At Genco, our goal is to build long-lasting relationships while providing complete financial solutions for each step of life's journey. Our members enjoy fewer fees, lower rates on loans of all types, and higher yields on a wide variety of savings options. That's just a small part of the credit union difference. Visit Genco online, on Facebook, or come by one of our 5 locations today. Apply online for membership. Genco FCU, NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
My money, my future, my credit union. Genco.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears!
Ghost Hydration is a fully transparent, fully loaded, full-flavored hydration drink that we've all been waiting for. Ghost is caffeine-free with electrolytes, 0 sugar, and low sodium that'll hydrate your body before, during, and after your workout. Consumer loved with authentic flavors, so grab and enjoy a Sour Patch Kids Blue Raspberry and Red Berry, along with the Kiwi Strawberry, Orange Squeeze, or Lemon Lime. Ghost Hydration can truly be used anytime. Remember, it's formulated for sports, but made for life.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
We are back at its start of District 12 6A, so every win matters. Wins even in the non-district schedule, 3-1 Midway after losing at Mansfield. We'll get to that in a moment, but Harker Heights, Friday night, Leo Buckley, 7:30 the kickoff. Our broadcast on 106.7 FM, The Eagle, and you can also listen on the Sikkim 365 app. Joe Gillespie with me, and a week that just seemed like, not everybody starts district. Some even started last week.
Yep.
But it seemed like the weather changes a little bit, even though it's muggy as heck. But how have you seen your team bouncing back from the loss and getting focused on the games that matter going forward?
Well, and we're getting to see a lot of the maturity of the team, and this was something that we wanted to go through and needed to go through. And, we want to win all the games that we play. I mean, the name of the game is win. And we had 4 non-district games. Mansfield High was certainly the toughest, I believe, of the 4, most athletic and a great team and stuff. And so, we believe that it could have gone either way. We needed to sit there and finish some drives. We needed to make a stop in a crucial situation. And, from a special team standpoint, we still have some things that we got to clean up. But, to go through those things and those dynamics, we still feel like we have a really good football team. I think the way that our kids, our players, our team, especially our leaders, have led us and everything have done a wonderful job. There's a lot of resilience. They understand the impact of this, and they understand, how important it was for us to get to go through something like that and learn from it. And we'd much rather learn in a non-district where there's no implications as opposed to in district where there are implications. But, the big theme all week has been we're back to 0-0. And the only thing that we're hunting right now is that first win. Let's go 1-0.
Harker Heights, who won the district title 2 years ago, Mark Humble's second year as head coach, is a Killeen native, was on the 91 state championship team at Killeen High. Josh Creech told me this, and now he's the head coach at Harker Heights. His father was the defensive coordinator at Dulles, who played Killeen High when Mark was a backup quarterback to Billy Spiller. He was the defensive coordinator in that game in which Killeen High won a state championship. I asked Mark that earlier. He did not know that, so we can't wait to pick the brain of Josh on what his dad's doing, et cetera.
Absolutely. I didn't even know that, so you're giving me information that I was unaware of.
I'm always trying to do my homework. Did the speed of Mansfield, the running back, was fantastic.
Yep.
Although you guys kind of kept him somewhat 0, Jacoby Hayes, the kick return, and then the long catch and run after that. And then 2, Robinson's pretty good, kind of contained him. What was more of preparing you for Harker Heights, that or what they do in the trenches?
Well, I think there's a combination of both. Obviously, you got to shut down the run game first and try to make offenses one-dimensional. And I thought to a degree we did some of that. There were some things that they started finding in the second quarter that they were, moving the sticks and things of that nature. But I thought our defense, I thought our coaches did a good job of adjusting. And, our kids started blowing their necks up a little bit. And so, going into halftime, we thought we had a lot of momentum. And certainly felt going into the locker room that momentum was on our side. We were in a great ball game, and we had some opportunities to go punch it in. It could have been a little bit different. And, but that's a great football team that bows their necks up as well. And so, the coming out in the second half, felt like we had a lot of momentum. The opening kickoff and the return, as soon as 0 caught it, I went, oh no. and that return right there could have taken a lot of wind out of ourselves. And diminishes it a little bit.
Right.
But I thought our kids handled it well.
You came back and took the lead.
Came back and took the lead again. And so, that's where we started talking about and been talking about, we got to start playing more complementary ball. I mean, if we get a turnover, then offense, we need to go score. If the opposing team scores, then we got to answer it. If the opposing team gets a turnover, then we need to answer it. And, just trying to play the complementary ball aspect. And, I got a little greedy when we were ahead and tried to go, with a fake punt. And unfortunately, that fake's gonna get burned because and wasn't able to execute it. And
what was it? Don't throw anybody under the bus, but was it the snap, the catch, the setup? What was it?
I think it's just, the first time that we've been in that situation, and I wanted to see if we could execute it and give some other opposing teams something to work on and take out some time in practice and stuff. And so that's really where it was boiled down to. And you could point your finger at a lot of things. Number one thing, you get one shot at this from a special team standpoint.
Absolutely.
You get one shot at a kickoff, you get one shot at a punt, you get one shot at a return, whatever it may be. You got to make those one shots count. And so that's some of the maturation process that we're going through right now.
The prettiest play of the entire night was called back because of a penalty.
Yeah.
I don't get to watch the film. You do. Tyler Scythe with a huge catch. Beautiful throw by Cash Pullen. Yep. And then yet you see the flag. Everything was perfect. The call itself, you must have known it was time. The route, the protection, and the throw. And
I know. And, that was a huge play for us in a crucial situation. It was going to sit there and give us a little bit of a cushion there. But I thought the offense did a good job of just going down the field and let's go ahead and answer. And let's
still score.
You still score and you get points on the board. But it's still in minutes right now. And, you look back at that game and we talked about it as a football team, going into the game for the last couple of days, that this game was going to be decided in the last 2 minutes of the game. We're that good of a football team, so are they. And this is a playoff caliber game. And I think they're a playoff caliber team. I think we're a playoff caliber team. And so we need to go see and judge where we're at right now. But I'm telling, I was telling the kids, the players that, hey, this game's going to get decided in the last minute, 2 minutes of the game. And, unfortunately, that's what it kind of boiled down to, and it wasn't favorable.
Lathan has been able to put back-to-back games together, some big yardage. He's starting to get room to run, which obviously there's nothing there if the offensive line doesn't execute. And it doesn't mean everything's perfect, but it seemed like he's starting to heat up like a diesel.
From game one to where we are right now, especially in game 3, game 4, you started seeing the growth process going through him. And just, number one, he's a phenomenal athlete and his work ethic is second to none. And the guy comes to work every day. But to see all of his hard work and everything come to fruition has been big for him. We expect to see the same thing. I mean, we've continued to sit there and have the graduation process going from 1 week to the next week to the next. And so he understands what he's going to have to face, and we understand from an offensive standpoint. I thought our offense did a wonderful job all night long.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Of moving the ball. I mean, we were moving the sticks and moving them fast. There weren't too many third downs, to be honest with you. And, especially there in the third quarter and fourth quarter where we had to sit there and go get some points, and we were moving the sticks. We got to get a little bit better when we get into the red zone, get the 6-point variety and not the 3-point.
You do things based on what you see Mansfield do, and you have your game plan and all that on either side of the ball. But based on how Rouse was a struggle and the offense just kind of kept kicking themselves or stepping, tripping, was it something that we need to get Cash off early? Because you came out and you could have thrown a ball, he threw 44 times.
Yeah.
Really, really nice throws. A couple you're going to miss and a couple of receivers are going to. Was that like, let's get him off early?
I think we have to. And, that's kind of who we are. And we're starting to learn as a staff. I think we're starting to learn as a team, as a program, some of what our identity is. And it's taken us a few quarters to get there. And it's taken us some struggles to go through. and to figure out exactly who we are. When we played Rouse, there were some struggles, with Cash, with, just getting the ball going and getting some first downs and stuff like that. Finally, we were able to do that. That was intentional by Coach Crane and the offensive staff, was let's get him off to a fast pace. And if we can do that, then things start to settle down. We get some comfort level. And, I thought they did a great job all night.
I really do. And then, of course, by the way, the game with Harker Heights last year, Heights won, I think, 28-14. Midway ended up getting on a stretch and then won the district title and all that. But did you know last year Tyler Scythe had 6 catches for 123 yards and a touchdown against Heights?
I did not.
And he wasn't even like one. He was good.
Yeah.
Like now he's one of your alphas. But that was in a role, again, you have a lot of receivers, but that's a nugget that from last year I saw when I was looking over the box score from a year ago. Mark Humble, the head coach, second year at Heights, was a state championship, a backup quarterback on the 91 state championship team I mentioned at Killeen in 91. Second year there, his son's the quarterback.
Yep.
Have you ever coached any of your children?
I sure have, as a matter
What's
of fact.
that like?
It's a blessing and a curse sometimes, and more of a blessing for the pops and maybe a curse for the son. And but I'm going to tell you, that's one of the finer moments in my coaching career that I sit there and I look back at, and I've gotten to experience a lot of things. The son that I got to coach is actually on staff with me right now, and he started for us at outside linebacker when we played won this 2012 state championship, and he was a sophomore at the time, and getting to coach him and getting to be with him every day and be out on the field and spend all that time with him, that was an absolute blessing, and so. I was fortunate enough to get to coach on a staff with a gentleman named Mike Copeland. Mike Copeland has been on staff at Stephenville for 50 plus years now. And he's not just the mayor of Stephenville, he's the president of everything, and so, but I remember him telling me, Josh's senior year, man, you better enjoy this. And so there were some moments that, I told those coaches, these moments right now are precious to me, and I want to be a little bit of a father. So once or twice a game, I go radio silent on the headset, and I just watch him try to be a dad. The rest of the time, I had to be a coach.
Good for you. That 2012 team that won the state title, you're talking about the one with your son at linebacker. What was it like? Because it had been such an amazing run with Coach Briles in the 4 state titles. What was it like to be able to do it again when he had moved on to coach college ball? And in fact, he was at Baylor at the time. What was it like? Was that not validation, but was that a relief? Well, because that's a place that
it's an expectation.
Yeah, you win. I mean, that's the expectation.
It's an expectation. And, I was fortunate enough, I went on the staff there in 1995, and they had just won back-to-back state championships in 93, 94. I was really going, obviously it was home for me. I was really going for just to get it on my resume, hopefully get a ring on the finger and, put that on the resume and just kind of go up from there. And then we started having children and all that stuff. And it's a great place to raise kids. And we were having a lot of success. We won it in 98, 99 back-to-back. And then Coach Briles went to Tech, and you fast forward, Coach Morris came through. We had a lot of success with Chad Morris, Mike Copeland took over, did that for about 3 years. We had still kept our success going. Chad Morris came in, we still had some success. But when we won it in 12, the last time we had won it was in 1999.
Right. It's been a long drought.
And so there had been a good minute in between. And the people of Stephenville, we won it in 93, 94, 98, 99. The expectation was we just continue to do that. And so a lot of those kids had never even witnessed a state championship. They were little bitty tubes.
Kindergarten maybe.
Yeah, and they were probably playing cup ball or something like that during it. And so to win that, it was huge. We got rolling at the right time, and we opened up the season #1 in the state. We got beat by Monterrey Tech, Mexico. And that was the biggest eye-opener for us. And then we went on a, 13, 14, 15 game win streak, from there and won a state championship and just got on a roll. And as we looked back, we sat there and said that was the greatest thing that could have happened to us.
Was Stidham the quarterback, or was it Jones?
Stidham was actually a receiver he was a sophomore receiver at the time. And
he had just moved in from Kentucky?
Well, no, he had been.
There? Okay.
He had already been at Stephenville for at least 5 years stuff. And so he and my son, Josh is on staff here, grew up together there in the same class. And so I got to watch Stidham grow as well. But Jarrett Stidham was a receiver for us his sophomore year. We had a gentleman named Tyler Jones.
Yeah, because you guys had played Midway.
Yeah.
You had brought that up before. In 11,
yep.
When they had a huge win at your place, I hate to bring that up, and then they went on a state championship run before losing to Baker Mayfield and
that's right.
And obviously Lake Travis. But I was wondering, I remember how good Tyler. He was
Tyler Jones was an absolute just competitor, warrior, winner. I mean, everything. And at the time, I had probably the best backup quarterback in the nation.
What a great role, right? What a great.
Yeah.
All right, final thing. Again, Harker Heights, 7:30. District games are 7:30. Then the following week, home against Shoemaker. But it's all about this week. Midway ISD, the facilities. Nothing's ever completely perfect. You always want more. Everybody does. It looks like a university campus. I love the stadium. Just your overall thoughts now that you've kind of settled in and what you have been able to soak in.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I've gotten to experience it from a high school level. I've gotten to experience it from a college level even. And, just to have the facilities that we have. And now getting to play a couple of home games and to go out and see the atmosphere and our student body. And I know I keep talking about it every week, but that's everything Texas high school Friday night football is all about. And it's all here at Waco Midway. And there's so much tradition. There's so much of a legacy with the student body and everybody before us that have come through and that have built Midway up to what it is amazing. To have the facilities, to have the indoor facility, to have the weight room, to have that stadium and everything, it's phenomenal because I've been at places where we had to go to a convention center and
when the weather was bad,
because the weather was bad. As a matter of fact, when I was at Stephenville, we had to go to the rodeo arena.
Did you really? Was it like the one covered with a big?
Yeah, it was covered, but we were practicing on dirt, and they'd go.
What else was on that dirt, by the way? Oh my gosh, your locker room situation and. By the way, you didn't bring this up to me because I've been covering Midway doing their games since 11, except for 1 year. Are there plans to expand anywhere to have even more options because of it is kind of packed in right there?
It is, and our locker rooms and everything are nice, and our kids take pride in it, and this is what we have right now. And the things that we need to go win games and for kids to grow and be successful, we have those things. The fortunate thing is that we've got a lot of kids that want to be a part of the program. And so this thing has grown. The entire school, the school district has grown. And so, the opportunity, I hope, is in the near future for us to expand. And we need it not just from a football standpoint.
All sports and
we
athletics,
need it from
extracurricular.
Male, female, all sports. We need that to happen. And, hopefully that happens sooner than later. But there's still a great sense of pride in what we have. And kids really take care of what they have right now.
Of course, the school districts and the taxpayers, and of course, they had that deal they did last year that was great. There's a lot of money's been put into it, but I noticed that one time I walked in the locker room and I was like, man, it's busting at the seams. But you can't have everything, but that's just something I thought maybe I would bring up too. Harker Heights, thank you for your time, man. Appreciate it as always. Thanks, Joe.
David, thank you.
Joe Gillespie, head coach at Midway. Harker Heights to open up 12-6A. Our broadcast, 7 o'clock pregame on 106.7 FM, The Eagle, and on streaming on the app, on Sikkim 365 app. For Joe Gillespie, Garrett Ross, I'm David Smoke. Have a great week.
When you need power, performance, and head-turning style, you need Peters Chevrolet. Check out the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. 1.9% for 36 months with discounts up to $10,000 off on custom crew cabs. 2024 Silverado prices starting at $36,995. Whether you work hard or play hard, take your pick out of the largest selection of new Chevrolets at Peters Chevrolet. Online at peterscars.net. Peters Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
El Conquistador restaurants are a very proud sponsor of the Midway Panthers, have been owned and operated by the Gonzalez family since 1969. El Conquistador is recognized annually as a local favorite with their fast and friendly service. Dine in or order takeout and enjoy your favorite Tex-Mex items as well as several traditional menu items. Catering is also available with 3 locations to serve you: Waco, Belmead, and Hillsboro. The Gonzalez family thanks you in Waco and the surrounding area for your continued support of 55 years in business. Go Panthers!
Hi, I'm Mark Stewart with Bird Colgin Ford. It's that time of year, it's football season. Bird Colgin Ford is a proud supporter of the best high school football right here in Central Texas. BK Ford is proud to sell the #1 selling truck in Texas, the F-Series truck, 47 years in a row. Come see the largest showroom in Texas and experience better at Bird Colgin Ford.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit Marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
This is the final segment, week number 5 of the Texas Statewide High School Football Scoreboard and Podcast Show. I'm David Smoke with Garrett Ross, and thank you. Bubba's 33, Jersey Mike's. We have my website, Smoaky.com, and we have a pick'em every week, 25 to 35 games. And the winner will get a gift certificate from one of those 2 based on where you live. Bubba's 33, a $25 gift card, and if it's Jersey Mike's, a couple of great sandwiches from their location in the Tyler and Longview area. Here are the games of this week. I mentioned what Salina's done. They now get to play 4-0 Panther Creek out of Frisco. Heck of a game. Stephenville, La Vega. They've been in the same district a few times before. This is a non-district game. Belleville and Columbus. Now, Belleville's good despite 2 losses. Columbus, I said, is at a different level. This is 4A against 3A. Belleville needs kind of like one of those feel-good adrenaline wins, but Columbus, again, as I mentioned, will feature Aaron Schobel and his father, Matt, next week on this show. Here's a couple of go down a notch or 2. Kilgore and Pine Tree. Remember I mentioned 4A in East Texas is stupid good? Pine Tree's run 4-0. Kilgore 3-1. Something's got to give here. Down a couple of more notches. Melissa and Anna. Anna coming off that high-scoring shootout against Lovejoy. And Melissa's a favorite. You see the black numbers on either side is who's favored to win and by how much. And the blue number on the right side, rank totals, is the number, how you're ranked with Jerry Forrest and Pigskin Prep. Like a 1-1 would be 2. A 3rd-ranked team against a 5th-ranked team would be 8. And the lower the number, the better the game. Also, Pleasant Grove and Sunnyvale, 2 2-2s that need a win. Mart and Bremont. Mart favored by 6. It has not been the easiest start. They're used to just like rolling through people. It's just a matter of who they're going to play in the semifinals or state championship game. Not quite that. Had a couple of guys transfer out, but Kevin Hoffman and Mart against Bremont and Jeff Kozowski. Chapel Hill, Lindale, another banger, as I call it, in 4A. Gilmer and Brenham. Brenham just put, 70-something up on somebody last week? This ought to be interesting. Gilmer, Carthage, Lindale, Van, Chapel Hill, Pleasant Grove, etc. Play anybody, anywhere, anytime in non-district and get on with it. Also, Strawn, obviously very, very good. Remember, they won that game up in Billings, Montana this year, along with Milford on that long road trip. They take on unbeaten Zephyr. We're back next week. A lot to get to. I'm David Smoke with Garrett Ross. Thanks to Craig Stump at Atascocita. Thanks to Mark Humble from Harker Heights. Thanks to you and our amazing sponsors, including our title sponsor with Randy Peters and Peters Chevrolet in Longview. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. Back with you next week. Good night.
3rd and 2. They stack the line of scrimmage. There's Dom Hill. There he goes. Dom Hill 40. Dom Hill 30. Downhill Dom Hill. Touchdown.
Smoaky.com presents the Texas High School Football Show on 365 Sports. Brought to you by Peters Chevrolet.
Medlock, they fake it to him. James Keeper off the left side, breaks the tackle, into the secondary, skips away, and he will score. Touchdown, Duncanville.
Here's David Smoke.